one that they captured
Yeah.
for 14 years.
Yep. Yeah, there
Yeah,
was a bunch of people involved in it.
yeah. I just like to discuss with you about this matter. I just wonder why this is so difficult to catch these guys. It's been 14 years.
Well, you need international cooperation to do it. And,
Uh,
some of these guys are living in places where they're it's almost like sanctuary countries, Muslim countries, or, Muslim cities overseas that want to support these guys. And they had no problem with what happened in Benghazi or at our embassy or to the ambassador that was killed.
right. Yeah, so yeah, I like to discuss a little bit more in details about this matter. I think it's very important for a lot of American people. They did not forget Benghazi. They still remember Benghazi and the people that died in that incident.
Right.
So yeah, okay, let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cheyenne's Forum. Today is February 10th. Here's my dear friend Tom. Tom, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So nice to see you every Tuesday. To be honest, every Monday night I start to be happy. And I think, okay, I'm gonna talk to Tom tomorrow. So happy. Lots of questions to ask. Yeah, before we start, I like to introduce Tom to my audience. Tom worked in FBI for 30 years, and he worked as assistant director of FBI for 5 years, and he's retired now. Again, welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
Sure. So, have some questions. The first one is about Epstein file. So, these couple of days, I think for these about 3 days, there are a focal point in the news about Steve Bannon, his role with Epstein. On on one hand, the Epstein investigation has some controversial topic that the is related to the relationship between these two guys, Bannon and Epstein. And on the other hand, our Justice Department seek to wipe out Bannon's conviction of for the deferring January 6th committee. So, what do you think about this matter? What kind of person Bannon is? It seems kind of very controversial. What do you think?
He's controversial, but I think that he kind of drew a line in the sand when he said, "I'm not testifying to that committee,"
Right.
recognizing that the committee was not technically an official committee.
Mm-hmm.
So it was improperly convened, and Pelosi made sure there were no legitimate Republicans on there. So she allowed, Cheney to be on there and a few others, and did not allow some of the people that the Republicans wanted to have on. Now,
Mm-hmm.
normally a committee, when it's convened, is required to have participation from both parties
Mm-hmm.
pretty much in an equal manner, and
Mm-hmm.
each party gets to pick who they're going to want on that committee. And
Mm-hmm.
in this case, Pelosi would not allow the Republicans that were picked, and instead insisted on Cheney and
Mm-hmm.
these other guys that were two others that were on there
Right.
that were biased, were absolutely, in fact, they had voted earlier to impeach Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That was a clue of which side they were going to be on and what kind of evidence. And then after the whole thing is convened, when they're trying to have people come in and testify, people like Bannon didn't want to. Like, no, it's not fair. It's not a legitimate committee. We shouldn't have to.
Right.
So that kind of led to all of the controversy with Bannon and others that did not testify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I remember it's Peter Navarro.
Yeah, Peter Navarro was another one.
Yeah,
They
and
said,
they
no, we're not testifying.
yeah, I on this part I totally agree with them, and I really admire their courage. I just don't want to do that because it's not legitimate.
Well, the
So
courage, the courage on their part was that they knew it was not a legitimate
right,
committee,
right.
and that therefore it whatever actions they took would not be admissible or allowable in the long run. And
Mhm.
so they said, no, not testifying, not going to be part of this.
Right.
And, then later you have members of that committee lose important testimony. When they took statements from people, depositions,
Mhm.
um, suddenly they couldn't find anything that supported, the Republican position. They couldn't find it.
Mhm.
Oh, we're looking for it. We don't know where it went. All of that stuff was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that the Democrats got away with for years.
Yeah.
Just kept going on and they got away with it.
Right. Right. Well, first, I really appreciate Justice Department to do the right thing for Mr. Bannon. But on the other hand, I think they should focus on how to punish this committee, in legitimate committee, and they are at least abuse the power. This is at least.
At
But
least they should, yeah. They should have
yeah,
done that, but they don't.
right. Yeah, and you know what, knowing you and knowing myself, I believe if we were the position as Bannon or Mr. Peter Navarro, probably we're going to do the same thing. I won't. I won't go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the first part. The second part is there are some documents saying suggest that Mr. Bannon and Epstein has very close relationship. Of course, we don't know how close or what kind of close relationship they are, but some people say, Bannon has some weird relationship with Epstein. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think we know enough about that to say one way or the other. A lot of people had relationships with Epstein that were not
Right.
involved with young girls or any of the other stuff that Epstein was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And because of his financial connections and
Mm-hmm.
connections to international intelligence agencies, other
Mm-hmm.
connections that he had,
Mm-hmm.
there were many that spent a lot of time communicating with Epstein.
Right. Yeah. So so far we see the last interview of Epstein. Suppose he's died. The last one on I think it's a 1 hour and 30 minutes is done by Mr. Bannon. I actually watched that interview and I think it's a good interview. I don't agree with Epstein on what he's saying and his concept, his point of view, but from the interview point, it's a good one. It's
Yeah,
really a good one. He just speaks about what he thought, and he actually reveals some truth about this world. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
also some people said that the Epstein file has some false information in it, and some people right now are using the false information as a weapon to attack their political enemies. Do you think do you see it?
Well, what else is new? That's all of those type of things. That's what they do. They weaponize it. They try to use it a certain way.
Mhm.
And then, when it backfires on them, then they don't know what to do.
Right.
So
And,
the Epstein files, the Democrats pushed it so hard because
mhm.
they thought there's going to be so much bad information to implicate Trump being involved with Epstein and all that.
Right.
And the logical answer to that is Biden was president 4 years.
Mhm.
His attorney general was in office 4 years,
Mhm.
and they could have released anything they wanted. If they found something in there that could hurt Trump, they would have used it in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
So they didn't.
Mhm.
And the fact that they found a lot of things that could hurt other people that were friends of theirs or Democrats in particular.
Mhm.
But when they couldn't find anything to really go after Trump,
Mhm.
to me, that was a clue because if they could have, they would have.
Right. Yeah, right. And also about the Epstein file, the Justice Department have some congressmen and women coming to see the whole document, not edited document, and there are some cases involve young kids. It's what we talk about, like 10, 9, 7 years old kids, and they did some bad thing to the kids. So right now, people just kind of piss up about when and how the Justice Department will react. Only release the document, or they're going to do something. They're going to arrest people. What do you think? What's the next of Justice Department? What they going to do?
If I had to guess, I'd say they're not going to do anything.
So then, what's the purpose to release this document?
It's all theater. Like I said, when they started that, I think they thought there was going to be all of this information to say that Trump was bad and Trump was involved in Epstein,
Right.
and not take a look at the fact that back, Trump being, a public figure like he was and a wealthy businessman and all the connections that he had, even before he ran for president,
Mhm.
that, it would be logical that somebody like Epstein would be involved or try to be involved with him.
Mhm.
And when Trump found out about Epstein's case, where he was arrested and convicted of being involved with these young kids, these young women,
Mhm.
Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Said,
Yep.
get out. He broke it off
Immediately. Yeah. Right.
immediately.
Yeah.
So everything that they thought they were going to be able to dig up on Trump, wasn't there.
Right.
But all the stuff that might implicate Bill Clinton or Hillary or other Democrats was there.
Right.
And so, and it was yet another initiative of the Democrats that kind of backfired.
Hmm.
So I think that's why. And I think Trump is trying to basically say, okay, he was convicted, he's dead, let's move on. Where are we going to go with this?
Right.
Even if it would be against Trump's enemies now, I don't know. It doesn't look like he wants to make an issue of it or charge anybody that was a Democrat back then with being involved with Epstein. So it just looks like for now he'd like to move on.
Yeah. Tom, I agree with you. I feel that he just want to, yeah, just put it away and move on. We have so many important things that we need to focus on rather than this Epstein stupid files. Um, but people need to be held accountable, right? We need to
Yeah.
have law and order, right?
Well,
So,
right now, it'd be hard to say somebody that went to the island 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was, how accountable and what would it take to hold them accountable? What kind of evidence would you have that they did anything wrong or illegal at the time? Now,
mhm.
maybe they have some, but I don't know.
So, Tom, is it very difficult case for arrest these people because we only have the emails, we only have some documents and some pictures. This
Well,
is
most of all, you would need the testimony of the victims.
right.
And do they want to forget all this and move on and not have any more? So that's the question. That you don't have victims demanding we want justice, that we were molested by this guy or that guy, and you don't see that. You don't see that there's that kind of evidence
Mhm.
widely available to do that.
So for only have pictures, is that enough to arrest people?
Depends on the pictures, it depends on how they were made, because you're talking very high profile people that can afford very expensive attorneys, and the cases would just have to be ironclad. And so if you have the victims not really being fully on board supporting a prosecution, it'd be very difficult.
I see. I see. So maybe this is why President Trump just saying, okay, let's move on. So we know who's the bad guy, but let's
Right.
move on.
Right.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
sad.
saw Elon Musk, it's just he is very focused on this issue. Every single day, he at least posts 5 to 6 acts and said, where's the
Yeah.
rest? Where's the rest? So we'll see because it's not ending yet. It's just beginning. And also Clintons, they agreed to go to the Congress, but what they going to do to them? Just asking them some questions and then they just give some answers and then that's it.
Yeah, probably.
Well, we'll see.
Probably.
It
I'll be surprised if anything more comes of that.
seems like really all pigs are equal. Some pigs are are more equal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. So let's talk about another thing
I was going to
involved.
say, George Orwell is alive and well to this day.
Yeah,
And he wrote that in 1949
right.
in Animal Farm,
Yeah,
that about the pigs saying, all pigs are equal, some are more equal,
right.
trying to criticize the system in Soviet Union at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And good point, but it applies to a lot of systems. It applies here,
I know.
unfortunately, too often.
I know. Yeah, because I came from China, communist China. So right now, especially for the Democrats, what they behave, it's just like a communist party.
Yeah,
No big difference.
right.
And then also about Benghazi. So 14 years after the incident, one of the suspect in Benghazi terrorist attack was arrested and brought back to the U.S. for a trial. What exactly happened in Benghazi? Some people remember, but some people forgot. So do you mind to just give us a review about what happened in Benghazi? Why this is so important to American for us to keep trying to catch these bad guys 14 years after. And what responsibilities should then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton bear of Benghazi?
Well, she didn't, the ambassador and other officials that were in Benghazi, the capital of Libya was Tripoli. And at the time, Benghazi was a substation pretty much of the CIA, and they were involved in trying to buy back weapons that we had issued. And and so we were trying to get back some of those weapons, and the ambassador had gone there himself. And then when the attack happened, he gets killed. And the
Mhm,
attack at the time, Hillary says, "Oh, it was a retaliation for a movie or something that was, criticizing Islam, and it was not a specific attack to go after our people that were operating that operation, that substation at
mhm,
Benghazi. It was, basically a remote operation." And she pretty much lied. And if you remember in her testimony when being questioned about it, she was like, "What difference does it make now?" Well, that was the difference, that we have an ambassador that was killed in the line of duty,
mhm.
and he had been asking for support. Uh, they wanted military support from our nearest base was in
Right,
Italy, only a few hours away,
right,
and it
right.
was all denied. Oh, everything's fine. You don't need anything. And then the attack happens and he gets killed. So, that was the issue, that it was negligence on the part of State Department to
Mhm,
have an ambassador in that kind of jeopardy, that vulnerable to attack,
mhm,
and not do anything to mitigate the threat.
mhm,
So that was the key. Then Hillary testifies, basically, it's not my fault.
mhm.
So
Of course.
typical Hillary, she got away with it.
Right, right, right. So, for these people, this person has been catched. Do you think it will change the whole story, or
No, because how many people did that attack? 10, 20, 30? How
Mm-mm,
many people descended on Benghazi to kill Americans? And so he's just one more. So I don't know what's so special about him compared to everybody else that killed Americans in Benghazi. It's good that
right,
we have them. That's great. Go ahead and prosecute them, but in the long run, so what?
right. Yeah. Well, when I see the conference from Pambandi and FBI, they makes it looks like a big deal.
Of course.
Yeah, so for 14 years to capture another one, of course, this is an achievement, of course, but I think the main person of Benghazi is Hillary Clinton. And there are so many reports that actually she knows everything that happened in Benghazi, and
Right,
she refused to support our American people.
right.
Yeah, so I don't know why she just do that. They have some deal or they have some other plan. Why they send these ambassadors and the American people to die, and she knows they're gonna die. So what's the story?
She could care less. That's why. You could say a lot of things about Hillary, but and some people say she's evil. And that's the basis of it. Ambitious, tries to get what she wants.
Hmm.
And her her actions going back to when she was in Arkansas with her husband, Bill, who was governor at the time,
Hmm.
to the present, that she's been involved in so many of these just questionable operations and judgments that yeah, that's why she has so many enemies.
Hmm. Right. So this is that makes me think another question is which maybe is more essential. We see Hillary Clinton, we see Obama, we see AOC, we see Joe Biden, we see these people. The main thing they have in common is the bad characters. They're not good person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
so
true.
then why people vote for these guys?
Well,
Can
we've seen that now, and we continue to see it. Why do they vote for a communist to be the mayor of New York,
yeah,
or the guy that's Chicago or L.A.?
well, or
All of these
use
people
them.
that the Democratic voters vote for, they put them in office. Why? Why are they putting people in that are anti-American, against our values,
Right,
support communist and socialist ideology,
right,
and yet Democratic voters keep voting for them? Why is that?
right. I don't understand. I don't understand because
I don't either. I don't either.
they're so obvious, right? They are
Exactly.
not trying to hide anything.
No,
They
they don't
just,
have to. I think they
yeah,
would be if they were worried about the Democrats. Oh, if they find this out, they won't vote for this
yeah.
guy or that person.
Uh-huh.
But doesn't matter. They could find everything in the world out about these people, and that's all right. That's who they're going to vote for. And then that's a combination of Democrats supporting these people, and then partly because they're just so anti-Trump. Doesn't matter what these Democrats do or how they do it, as long as they're hurting Trump, that's the way they're going to vote.
So people just like stupid like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tom.
it's not just stupid. In a way, it's smart. They'll do anything to hurt Trump, to hurt the people that support Trump, and therefore that's the answer. Support these people because they'll hurt Trump. They'll be against Trump.
That's evil. That's really evil. Um, Tom, did you heard the what happened in Japan the during the weekend? They have the election and
Yeah,
yeah. So lots of media, especially the mainstream media, was saying that the Japanese people won't support these government, so she cannot win. But in turn, she win huge, big,
exactly, exactly.
huge. So I actually have a live stream and I asked one of my audience who is in Japan and she voted and she told me that in Japan they use the paper ballot, no voting machine, and the same day vote and got the result.
All right.
So I'm just thinking that okay, if we here in America do the same thing, maybe we will have the different result.
That's why they don't want to do it. That's why the Democrats fight against same day voting or paper ballots or any of that. And if anything, she's a perfect example.
Right.
She was basically the Trump of Japan,
Yeah, she is.
conservative,
Right.
MAGA type personality. In fact, Trump endorsed her
Yeah.
very publicly.
Yeah.
And so now people in this country, liberals in this country, can hold that up as, see, you don't want to do paper. Look what happened in Japan.
Yeah, right,
You
right.
know, they couldn't cheat and get
Yeah,
somebody else elected. And now they're stuck with this conservative
right.
MAGA type person. And
Uh-huh.
we don't want that here. So we
Hmm.
don't want Trump or his supporters to have an advantage in the US. So let's keep the machines. Let's keep,
Yeah,
let people vote for 3 weeks after the election. And let's do all these bad things that we're now discovering
right,
how fixed the 2020 and 2024, how much they cheated and got away with it, and will
right,
continue to cheat as long as they can get away with,
right.
voting that lasts forever, no paper ballots, count the votes after you see how many your opposition made, and then cheat and put in more votes for your guy or girl. So I think that's a classic example why they don't want that here.
Right.
She's a perfect example. We'll end up with somebody like her.
So we cannot do that.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah. So that's come up the next question about the SAFE Act. We see that the SAFE Act is like moving so slow, and people just keep asking when you're gonna start to process the SAFE Act. So right now, I know this is in the Senate. What your prediction of that?
I
Do
don't
you
know because, this is another example that the SAFE Act requiring proof of citizenship to
right?
vote,
Yeah, this is.
photo ID, you
Uh,
know, pass whatever that proves you're an American citizen to vote.
mhm,
And, the Democrats, we can't have that. They can't cheat with a system like that. So that's why they fight these systems hard as they can, tooth and nail,
mhm,
because boy, we can't have logical requirements that are going to make voting
mhm,
so difficult to cheat.
mhm. Yeah, it's so obvious. So, I don't know, Tom, if something like this happened, what can we do? Because asking for the ID, asking for the proof of citizenship is a very basic requirement,
Right.
lawful basic requirement, and a Democrats as a party against that. So, what can we do? They are not trying to negotiate with us, or they're not trying to make American good. They try to make themselves in the power, whatever the cost is.
Yeah.
So this
The,
is not like a normal party. It is communist party.
yeah. The best thing I would hope for is, and you hear, the Deputy Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon,
Yeah,
has
right,
talked about that. Yes, the Constitution says states can run their investigation. However, when they cheat, they're violating the civil rights of all Americans.
right.
And therefore, they can use that justification for federal action. And I think we'll
Mhm.
see. We may see what she does.
But the we have to pass SAFE Act first, right?
Well, I think she can get around Safe Act by saying that when they cheat, they're denying all Americans their civil rights, that their vote doesn't count, not as valid. So yes, some constitutional scholars are saying, oh, it requires the Safety Act.
Mhm.
And others, like Harmeet Dillon, are saying, we can go after some of these people now and should. And I
Okay,
think that it's going to be a battle here down the line.
right.
But, every time I see Schumer on TV or Hakeem Jeffries or those guys, to me, I look at that like they're evil.
Yeah,
They're the embodiment of evil, trying to subvert our system
yep,
so that they win and hold power.
yep,
And I think that, the sooner we do something to stop that, the better.
yeah. I agree. Is there any way that you can see to stop these people? Because again, this is not a Democrats party. This is a communist party.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I know the how dangerous and what kind of destroy they can make in very short period of time. So what can we do as a Republican? Or people said
Well,
Republican.
hopefully one of the best things is to educate our voters that this is so dangerous to let these Democrats do this election fixing, if you will.
Mhm.
And especially the set up systems that are easier to cheat. No
Mhm.
photo ID,
Mhm.
no proof of citizenship to get registered in the first place. All of
Mhm.
those type of things subvert the process.
Mhm.
And what we can do is try to force, especially in this case, have her at DOJ take action. Do
Mhm.
something when there's evidence of how much cheating happened and who
Mhm.
did the cheating, go
Mhm.
after them.
Right.
Now,
Right.
just, now we've had the FBI searching, in Georgia, their records,
Yeah.
voting records and all of that. And I
Mhm.
think that the more they do that and the
Mhm.
more effective they are in finding out who's cheating and
Mhm.
then going after them, I
Mhm.
think there'll be less cheating. I think there'll
Yeah.
be fewer people willing to get caught up in that.
Right. I agree. So we just need to have more actions.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need
much bigger and then quicker actions. And also the anti-ice incident. Some people pay them, and these people are from some people are from China or some other country. Is this actually legal or not?
no, no, because they're conspiring to do all of these illegal things, whether it's inspire violence at ICE rallies or even have ICE rallies in the first place,
Mhm.
provide financial support for those rallies, make
Right.
the signs, deliver the weapons they're going to use, deliver the people that are going to cause the interference with ICE, and all of that. I think that, one of the strongest things to happen in the last couple of weeks,
Uh-huh.
largely thanks to Tom Homan negotiating with the mayor of
Mhm.
Minneapolis, the governor of Minnesota, is stop being a sanctuary city. That's
Right.
what causes the
Yeah.
violence in the street. That's what causes ICE to have to go out and go to homes and go door to door to look for people that shouldn't be here, because they were in jail
Mhm.
in the first place for a
Mhm.
variety of things, but the fact that they weren't legal citizens and
Mhm.
may have committed violent acts on top of that
Mhm.
was reason enough to hold them, under detainer from ICE to come get them.
Yeah.
Notify ICE that you've got them, come and
Mhm.
get them. And
Mhm.
then that transfer of the prisoner is happening in a jail facility.
Mhm.
It's safe from the public. It's safe for ICE. It's safe for
Community.
for the guy being arrested.
Right.
And so when these mayors and governors put the bad guys back on the street,
Mhm.
then that's what causes ICE to have all these thousands of agents, because where it might take one or two agents to go into a jail and bring that person out in custody, if you
Mhm.
have to go to homes in a neighborhood,
You're gonna
it
take
could
it.
take a dozen,
Right.
because yeah, it'll only take two or three agents to actually arrest the person, but it'll
Right.
take a dozen to protect the ICE agents that are doing it
Right.
and
Right.
their vehicles and their equipment.
Mhm.
So that's where the problem comes in. And I think that when presented that way, it's hard for any city or
Mhm.
state to justify not cooperating with ICE by turning them over in the jail,
Mhm.
remaining a sanctuary city where we're going to protect them. They're in our jail and we're not going to let you come and get them. And we're
Mhm.
going to turn them loose out on the street. Well, then what? How do you bring them in? They got
Mhm.
to send all these dozens of agents for each person to go get them.
Yeah. So basically, they have no choice but send more agents to catch these people.
If they do that, yeah, if they refuse to turn them over in the jail, absolutely.
Right. I just
Yeah.
want this is Tom, I think this is very basic knowledge. As a mayor, you should know that. But why they still doing that until Tom Homan go to their door
Well, as
and
long as they could get away with obstructing ICE, obstructing the process,
they will do.
maintaining their sanctuary status, they were
Mhm.
going to do it. It took somebody like Holman to come in there and publicly embarrass them and let the world know
Mhm.
this is why we have the riots on the street.
Right.
This is why people are getting hurt or shot and killed on the
Right.
street. Doesn't
Right.
have to be this way. We can
Uh-huh.
peacefully do this in a prisoner jail.
Mhm. So it seems like if they like to cooperate with Tom Homan, and then things will get easy and they won't get arrested. Remember when things just up, people said that if the governor and the mayor are not cooperate with um, DOJ, not DOJ, the Tom Homan, and they can get arrested. So then Tom Homan went to their office face to face, tell them if you don't do that, you can be rest. And then they're listening, right? They're listening now. So it seems like Tom Homan has to go to the different cities and face to face tell the mayors.
Well, the
You
next thing it
can do
would
that.
be is if you had the
Uh-huh.
governor of Minnesota or Mayor Fry in Minneapolis, if you had, when they obstruct ICE, if you had ICE come and get them and take them away in handcuffs
Mm-hmm.
and prosecute them, and I think the fact that he basically threatened that that's what's going to happen was enough.
Yeah.
That was not just a wake-up call for them, but for other cities to not do that. You have almost every Democratic state and Democratic big city is doing it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though there's
Exactly.
technically sanctuary,
Uh-huh.
they're turning them over to ICE in the jail.
Right.
So ICE sends one or two agents over, picks the person up, takes them out, and does finishes the processing of them. And it only takes two people instead of a dozen. And that's why now you've had, and then the proof in that is then DHS withdraws 700 agents. But okay, we'll take these guys out.
Right.
You turn them over.
Mhm.
And the additional thing is, especially you see it in Minneapolis, when the ICE agents are on the street and get confronted and they call the police to break
Mhm.
up the disturbance, the police are coming and doing that.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a whole new thing.
Right.
So, so I think right there, the combination of the police supporting federal law enforcement, which I believe when they take an oath to the Constitution, that's their duty to do that. And
Yeah.
so I think that in my opinion, that up until now, you have a huge case to support the arrest of governors, mayors, and chiefs of police.
Chief police. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be directing your people to obey the Constitution, the
Hmm.
supremacy clause of the Constitution, which says federal law enforcement
Hmm.
supersedes local statutes, and
Hmm.
and I think that's what it'll take and I think that what's interesting here is you have Holman meet with these people, and I think if
Hmm.
they'd have sent anybody else in, even if
Hmm.
it was Pam Bondi, even if it's anybody, the fact that they sent Homan in,
I
who
think
was a
so.
hero of Obama.
Hmm.
Obama pinned a medal on him for the great work he did
Hmm.
in immigration. And I
Hmm.
think that that fact, knowing the credibility that Tom Homan has
Hmm.
and the gravitas, the strength and
Yeah.
the standing that he has in law enforcement, I think was enough for them to chicken out, basically.
I agree. I agree. You know, when you see Tom Holman, when he says something, he has the power. He
He
has
does.
the power.
He
I don't know
does.
what is that, but he has the power. Uh,
Commands respect.
yeah, exactly. And for you mentioned about Century City, I just wonder where the Century City comes from. Is the immigration law allowed some cities or some states to protect the illegal immigrants? Where
Yeah,
is it?
when this started up several years ago, nobody wanted to really take it on. Even during Trump's first term, he just they kind of ignored that. Well, if they're going to be doing this to protect illegals, they kind of ignored it. And I think hopefully Trump learned his lesson that you can't ignore these things. They come back to haunt you.
Right. Yeah, so I just wondered the Century City, is this even legal? The Century City, the Century State itself. I
No,
don't think in
no, it's
immigration law,
unconstitutional. It's not
yeah,
legal.
how can they, yeah, survive?
Because of the politics. They didn't want to have the confrontation between federal law enforcement, local authorities. And so federal law enforcement backed down.
Right.
President, Attorney General, they backed down.
Yeah.
This
You
has
know,
been going on, since the George Floyd riots, even before that.
Right.
So they've gotten away with all this. And I think that maybe Trump, I hope, finally woke up and decided, I'll
Mm-hmm.
send in Tom Homan or somebody like him
Right.
to put an end to this, to
Right.
teach these state and local officials that they don't have the power to do that. And they don't have the power to protect people that are wanted by the federal government, federal law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I actually worked in a law firm for lots of years, and it's focused on immigration law and corporation law. So when I heard the Century City, first I didn't think a lot, and then I just try to figure out when does this happen? Is this legal? So I actually called a few of my friends who work in the legal immigration legal field, and then they don't know where this has come from. At least from the immigration law point of view, we don't have that.
no,
So
it's not legal. It's it's a made up principle
yeah, thank you
by
for the
by
answer.
basically Democratic mayors and governors to
Right.
create this idea that, oh, we're going to be a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state. And what
Well,
it basically means is we're not going to obey federal law
mhm.
or federal law enforcement. We're going to do what we want.
Yeah,
And
basically that's the
and I
case.
think finally they're getting the message, no, you're not going to do that anymore. Enough's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I think Dylan knows that. Maybe Dylan can go from here and then just cancel the whole Century City or Century State. We don't allow that. It's against the law,
Yeah.
right? And then, well, thank you so much. Yeah, you just give me a very clear answer. No, this is illegal, actually. And very important thing is talk about the midterm. What do you think about the midterm? What's your suggestion for the conservative people or Republic people?
I think the conservatives in this country need to aggressively protect the Republicans maintaining control of the House and the Senate.
Hmm.
Obviously, the White House will not be at stake directly, but a lot's going to happen if the House goes Democratic. I mean, obviously, the first thing is everybody talks about, well, if the House of Representatives becomes Democrat controlled, the bad thing right in the beginning is the new Speaker of the House and the committee chairman will all be Democrats.
Hmm.
The second thing is they're going to immediately keep their promise to impeach Trump again.
Oh yeah.
Now, the problem from the actual is just it's not a real problem really for Trump because obviously he's been indicted 150 times already.
Mhm.
But in this particular case, when the House of Representatives returns articles of impeachment, then the impeachment trial goes to the Senate. The Senate is the judge presiding over it is the chief judge of the country. But the senators, it takes two-thirds of the Senate. So it takes 62 or 63 senators for the impeachment to be effect for the conviction, which would remove the president. There is
Mhm.
no possibility that they will get that. But it's an exercise to harass Trump, force
Mhm.
him to defend himself,
Mhm.
slow down other initiatives he may have because
Mhm.
he's got to be tied up with this and his staff has to be tied up with this. But that you already went through this
Mhm.
during his first term.
Yeah.
Now we'll go through it all over again. So I think that that's right now, that's all you hear out of the Democrats. We've got to take the House so we can impeach Trump.
Mhm.
So it's like we've got to take the House so we can put the charade on one more time
Mhm.
and go through all this motions and whatever that's not going to be successful. From the
Mhm.
beginning, they know it won't be successful. Doesn't matter. They just want to harass Trump.
Right. Right. Do you think Democrats have a very good chance to win the House?
I would normally say no chance at all. But then I look at how did they win in Los Angeles? How did they win in Chicago? How do they win in New York? How do they win in all of these states? How does Gavin Newsom, become governor of California or Pritzker in Illinois?
Mhm.
So the fact that Democrats are so, I think, stupid that, yeah, it's possible they could do it. if the Republicans are negligent or don't recognize the threat enough to
Mhm.
really try to prevent this and go after it and put good candidates out and support good candidates,
Mhm.
and then, keep pushing the initiatives that the economy is getting better and all of those things are becoming more positive.
Mhm.
Um, but not for that. Even with positive information, even with the economy doing well, even with all of that,
Mhm.
there are enough stupid Democrats in this country to wreck the country.
Right, right. I agree with you that the Democrats need to be more active, more aggressive on voting. And there is a election right now, just passed about 2, 3 weeks ago, a very red area. A Democrats win over the Republican, and we have only 6% of the Republican come out to cast a vote.
Yeah.
6%.
And that's the problem is that they typically don't come out. If Trump's on the ballot, great. Landslide and
Yeah,
swing states go Republican, all of that. But if Trump's not directly on the ballot, people stay home. So that's stupid because the Democrats aren't staying home.
yeah.
And the Democrats that cheat are definitely not staying home. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have is you're up against a machine that
Right,
stops at nothing to win.
right.
And we've got to stop at nothing to stop them.
Right, right. And for White House just announced that for the midterm, Trump will go on the trip again to do the rally, and also JD Vance. It's just like last year. It is good, of course. People like to see Trump and like to hear from him directly. But on the other hand, I'm just thinking that the whole party is relying on one person. Do you
Well,
think
he is. He's MAGA. He's the Republican Party. He's everything.
so? He has to go out.
And the problem,
Uh-huh.
in a way, because Trump is so effective and so powerful and
Hmm.
so supported, when
Hmm.
he's not there, it's a vacuum.
Hmm.
And the other Republicans need to step up and recognize we can't have that. We've got to support Trump because he's the one now.
Hmm.
And then in 2028, whether it's whoever it might be, JD Vance or Rubio or somebody else,
Hmm.
they need to be supported with the same, I guess, power or
Yeah,
effort.
right, right.
And I think that right now, from what I see during these hearings and during the speeches and rallies, is I think that JD Vance is very powerful when he speaks up.
Hmm.
Marco Rubio, I think, has shocked a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
with his power. And I
Hmm.
think between the two of them, that's
Yep.
quite a formidable pair
Yeah.
for Democrats to go up against if it comes down to that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. These two are just the hope of the like a young generation of Republican.
Yeah,
Yeah, which yeah, they're powerful. When they're together, they're powerful. So
yeah.
we'll see. Okay, so midterm, I just like to, yeah, we need to keep talking about the midterm because I think more and more Republican need to realize that Trump back to White House, this is great, great, but it's not enough. We need to keep the Senate and Congress still on a Republican's hand.
Exactly.
So yeah, we just cannot just stop there. Yeah. And what else you think people you're interested in this past week? I think is really important and need to yeah pay attention.
Well, so much of the media attention now has been on Samantha Guthrie, and her mother being kidnapped and all of that. And I think of who's done what. And I think what's interesting here, that
Mhm.
kind of surprised me, the FBI over the last couple of years, maybe decade, I think has hurt itself because of such poor leadership.
Yeah.
James Comey, and
Hmm.
then, the guy that replaced him, Christopher Wray. have that it's really, really damaged the reputation of the FBI. And
Mhm.
friends of mine that are retired from the Bureau after many, many years of being in the Bureau
Mhm.
um, have said the same thing of what's the FBI? What can the FBI do? And I said, well, the best thing the FBI can do is if a very high profile case comes up,
Mhm.
succeed where the locals can't, where it needs the FBI's skill, effort, leadership
Mhm.
to solve the case, to bring whoever did it to justice and all of that.
Mhm.
And I think that the current case, whether it's a kidnapping or a murder extortion, could be a family member. There's all kinds of possibilities.
Mhm.
But one other thing is today, the FBI was able to pull a rabbit out of the hat with these videos of the person going up to the front door to
Mhm.
disable the ring camera. So
Mhm.
now you've got this vivid picture of somebody that they said, the sheriff and everybody, oh, there's no video. The camera was ripped out or turned off. There's no evidence. Nobody in the neighborhood had a video. We've
Mhm.
checked with all the gas stations, whatever in the area. Nobody has a video or something similar. And now today you have the Bureau through its forensic people and cyber people be able to take that information from the Nest camera and
Mhm.
produce videos and then
Yep.
put it out today. And I
Mhm.
think that that's a tremendous development in the case. And
Mhm.
when I was watching the news coverage earlier today, I was thinking it made me proud of the FBI again. That here is something the sheriff couldn't do it, the state couldn't do it, the city couldn't do it, nobody could do it. And these technicians and analysts and experts at the FBI, they did it. And
Mhm.
so now if those videos that were put out today,
Mhm.
if they lead to somebody, because you have a full shot of the person,
Yeah.
yeah, he has a mask on, but the outfit, the jacket, the pants, the shoes, the gun in the belt,
Mhm.
all of that is just so unique. And then you see the person walking up up that sidewalk
Mhm.
up to the top level to the cameras,
Mhm.
and that's tremendous because for a lot of these cases, how the person walks
Mhm.
tells the public, oh, I know that guy. I know who walks like that, who
Right.
wears that kind of jacket or pants or boots or
Mhm.
whatever it might be. And I think that I'm going to be very curious to see starting today, when we get done talking, go back and see what's
What's
happening with the follow-up on the leads from those videos, because
the
that's
new,
tremendous.
right, the new development? Very important. And the FBI show its highest professional skill.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
thank you, FBI. Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're looking for it. So it seems like it's clear right now it's a kidnap, right? For the case.
Could be.
Yeah, I follow up the case. I just don't know the intention. It looks like why? She's 84, 83. Why kidnapping?
Something, yeah, we don't know every detail yet. There's still possibilities that it was going to be a robbery or an extortion or a home invasion, and maybe something went wrong and she got hurt and they decided to take her so she couldn't identify any of them later. Now,
Oh,
whether that means that she's not alive or not, we don't know. But
okay.
I think that that was the issue, that it might have gone bad. And I think that in these kind of cases,
Hmm.
um, the ones I've been involved in,
Hmm.
it's not always, like early in this, you heard, wait, maybe it's Mexican cartels, or
Hmm.
maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And sometimes in these cases, it's a member of the family.
Yeah.
So that I know that from day one, the FBI would be looking at every family member
Hmm.
and in-law
Hmm.
and child of family members. Is somebody in financial trouble?
Hmm.
Are one of them being extorted,
Hmm.
threatened, uh, leading them to want to commit this robbery and set up the ransom? So there's still a lot of possibilities out there.
Yeah.
But I think that the video clearly showing this guy today at the front door,
Hmm.
uh, who was at the front door on the night of the disappearance, That's tremendous amount.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to recognize that person.
Yeah. It's a one person or two person.
Could be five people. We don't know.
Okay. We'll see.
So the other side of that is, did somebody drop that person off at the front door?
Mhm.
Because when they take her out, they're going to need that car. She can't walk that far. So they were going to have to
Yeah.
pull up in that driveway to put
Right.
her in a vehicle. And
Right.
obviously it would be after the camera's disabled. So there's a lot of possibilities with that. The
But
one, here's the one thing that I saw today that really, if you see a close-up of the face and you see
uh-huh.
the ski mask,
Right. You see the eye.
the eye, you see the eyes, the
Yeah.
eyebrows
Uh-huh.
look like a woman to me.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I
I thought that's not some big, that's not like,
yeah.
what, Mangione with his big bush eyebrows that
No.
even the,
Her eyes. I use her eyes. So that's why I asking if that two people, because maybe the first one looks like a man, but the face, the eyes looks like a woman to me. And
yeah.
good
But
looking.
particularly the eyebrows are
Right.
so like pencil trimmed
Yeah.
perfectly.
Right.
To me, when I saw that, I thought that's a woman.
Yeah. We'll see. So,
Now,
uh-huh.
now the problem in the modern era, is it a woman? Is it a trans? Is it,
It's
homosexual?
possible. That's
So,
possible.
so
Who
it
knows?
could be somebody that identifies as a woman, but in any case, to have the eyebrows, and it looked like, with that ski mask, like maybe they were trimmed to not catch on the mask and, cause a problem. I don't know. But it sure, when I saw that, I thought, that's a woman.
Yeah, yeah. I have the exactly same feeling. And then her eyes, the eyes looks like a woman's eyes, not like a man's eyes.
Yeah.
So I think by no, next Tuesday, probably we should know, right? And
Oh,
give
I hope so. Yeah.
another week. Yeah, I'll just pray for her safety, and I wish she can return home safely.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Tom. I'm so glad talking with you. It's a very interesting topic we have, and I'll translate into Chinese as soon as possible. And then I'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Have a good week.